Today, we will explore a science fiction, mystery, and thriller movie from 2018 titled Parallel. One quiet night in the suburbs, Marissa is lying on the bed looking at pictures while her husband reads a book. Suddenly, their dog starts barking loudly. Marissa goes downstairs to check and finds the dog's food bowl still full, untouched. She also discovers a broken photo frame, with glass scattered on the floor. When she picks up the photo to examine it, she is suddenly attacked from behind by a masked intruder holding a gun. The intruder forces Marissa to sit down on a chair, then places a pillow over her head and shoots her dead. What is even more surprising is that when the intruder removes the mask, it is Marissa herself. After killing her version, the intruder wears the clothes of the dead Marissa. She hides the body in the car trunk, then goes up to the bedroom to join Marissa's husband. He doesn't realize that the woman holding him is not his wife, but an imposter. 2 years later, Noel and Devin, two young programmers, are presenting their parking app idea to a tech company. Although the company's boss likes the idea, instead of the 4 weeks they had agreed upon, he only gives them 1 week, as he has found another team that promises to finish faster. Noel and Devin realize they have been betrayed by Seth, a person they once invited to collaborate with, but was rejected due to the low salary. Seth stole their idea and sold it to a competitor. Right after the meeting, Noel and Devin go to confront Seth. Noel, angry, wants to hit Seth, but Devin stops him just in time before things get out of control. Meanwhile, at their home, Lena and Josh are having a conversation together. Both feel regretful when they learn that Carmen, the neighbor they like, already has a boyfriend. Josh comforts Lena, saying that she is a talented artist and deserves to do greater things, rather than just creating illustrations for apps. When Noel and Devin return, they bring the bad news about their project's idea being stolen. To relieve the tension, the group decides to go to Carmen's bar for drinks. While pouring drinks, Carmen tells them a frightening story. The house they are staying in is cursed. The woman who lived there before disappeared without a trace 2 years ago. Since she lived a reclusive life, it took a long time for people to realize she was missing. The story makes the group feel uneasy, but they decide to push aside the negative thoughts and raise a glass to forget it all. Meanwhile, Carmen teases Lena about her past bad relationship with Noel. Josh tries to flirt with a girl at the bar but gets pushed away by her boyfriend. When they return home, the group discusses the possibility of completing the app in 1 week. They quickly realize that this is impossible. Devin wants to quit and find a real job at a company, which makes Josh angry. In his anger, Josh throws a tool towards the group's logo picture hanging on the wall. The throw causes the picture frame to fall, revealing a damaged wall. Lena checks the damage on the wall and discovers something strange. The wall is fake. The group decides to break down the wall and finds a staircase leading to an attic they had never known about. In the attic, they discover many strange objects. Some things look very ordinary, but other items make them feel extremely suspicious. There are photos of Marissa secretly following a different version of herself around town. They also find 2 copies of the same magazine, but each one has different details. Inside the house, there is a secret passage hidden in the closet, leading to the back of the house. Most surprisingly, they find a periscope that allows them to see into every room in the house. When Devin accidentally trips, he bumps into a large mirror. At that moment, the electricity in the room suddenly spikes, and Devin's hand goes through the mirror. The group is astonished but cannot hide their curiosity. Lena and Josh also try placing their hands on the mirror, and each time they do, the electricity spikes again. Devin decides to try again, this time holding a phone to record a video. When they watch the footage, they realize there is a room identical to this one on the other side of the mirror, but no one is there. Josh then decides to go through the mirror with his whole body. Once on the other side, they can no longer hear Josh's voice. Josh uses the secret passage to the back of the house and discovers a different version of himself with the group of friends talking. Josh records the entire scene on his phone, then returns through the mirror to recount what he saw. Josh insists that he was on the other side for 15 minutes, but Devin reveals that on their side, only 5 seconds have passed. To verify, they send Josh through the mirror again and use the phone to time it. When Josh returns, they confirm that there is a time discrepancy. Specifically, time stretches at a rate where 1 minute on their side equals 3 hours on the other side of the mirror. They decide to bring the mirror downstairs for further investigation. The group discovers that the mirror must always be placed at a fixed angle and position in the house, or else it will stop functioning. This explains why the mirror is screwed into the floor. However, this doesn't stop them from continuing their experiments with the mirror. When Noel and Josh step into the mirror one by one, they are transported to 2 different attics. However, when they held hands and walked across together, they appeared at the same spot. From this, Noel concludes that the mirror takes them to parallel universes. Each time they step into it, they are actually visiting a new timeline. But every time they return, the mirror always brings them back to their original reality. This explains why there is the periscope. so that people moving between universes can observe their other versions and avoid meeting themselves. Once they understand how the mirror works, the group decides to use it to their advantage. By working in one of the parallel universes where time moves slower, they complete the app faster than the company's deadline. After submitting the work, the group drives by Seth's house to mock him for trying to steal their opportunity. Then, they head to Carmen's bar to celebrate. At the bar, they realize that the mirror not only allows them to work faster, but also could lead them to bigger opportunities, if they use it correctly. Josh's first idea is to learn the lottery numbers in advance, but this plan fails. The parallel universes, or alts, as they start calling them, have small differences, and these differences affect the outcomes. Noel points out that it is these differences that they need to exploit. So, the group begins jumping from one universe to another, searching for information they can use. However, they found nothing remarkable. The maps, history and news were all the same. Their next plan is simpler. They begin taking money from their versions and spending it on all sorts of luxuries. One evening, Lena finds Marissa's journals in the attic. Marissa moved into this house after her husband passed away and accidentally discovered the mirror. At first, she was very passionate about following her other version. Later, she realized that people who had died in this world might still be alive in other worlds. So, Marissa began her journey to find a version of her husband who was still alive. Lena thought it was a romantic act, but for Devin, it made him uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Noel and Josh in another reality are recreating a scene from The Godfather. They blow up a pile of money while wearing costumes, and then want to try out the guns they just acquired. While looking for something to use as a target, they discover a strange DVD, a version of the Frankenstein movie with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. When they return home, they share this discovery with the group and realize this is exactly what they need. Decisions related to artistic inspiration will have major differences between realities. Now, they know what they need to look for. The group enters a parallel world and easily notices the differences, such as Mona Lisa's hair being shorter. Noel wants to bring these new ideas back to his world and profit from them. Devin disagrees, saying that would be stealing someone else's ideas, just like what Seth did to them. After arguing with his friends, Devin leaves the table and finds a computer to search for information about his father. However, the article results are still the same as what he had read at home. His father was convicted of running an illicit business, and Martin had committed suicide to avoid going to prison. Unlike Devin, the rest of the group starts exploiting the mirror. Josh is simply impressing girls by predicting the future. Lena is copying great works of art and selling them as her own. Noel is buying and reselling technologies. The three of them become incredibly rich and successful, appearing on magazine covers and television shows. One day, at a party, they are approached by Seth. Seth is very suspicious of their sudden success and mentions something called Orion Skypha. However, Noel kicks Seth out of the party after he insults Devin's father. After the party, Devin asks Noel about this Orion Skypha. Noel doesn't explain much and only promises that he won't do anything crazy without consulting Devin first. Then, Noel takes Devin to another reality to handle something. They go to the house of a different version of Seth, where Noel destroys the computer and television. Then he grabs Seth, throws him to the ground, and invites Devin to kick Seth for what he said about Devin's father. Devin refuses and asks Noel to stop, scolding him for his violent actions. However, Noel doesn't consider the versions in the parallel worlds to be real people. Devin starts reading Marissa's journals and realizes she lost her mind, and he begins to worry that this might be happening to Noel. To ease his worries, Josh takes Devin to another world. There, Carmen accepts his flirtation because Josh impresses her by playing music from her favorite bands, music from the future. When it seems like things are heading toward them sleeping together, Devin decides to give Josh and Carmen some privacy. He goes downstairs to continue searching for information about his father. However, the results still don't change. Meanwhile, Devin is listening to music with headphones to drown out the noise from Josh's room. He doesn't hear Carmen's boyfriend's car pull up outside and enter the house until it's too late. The man shoots Josh for sleeping with his girlfriend. The gunshot rings out, and Devin immediately takes Josh back to their world. Lena helps bandage Josh's wound, and the three of them ask Noel to call the police, but he only pretends to do so. After a moment of silence, when there's nothing more they can do, Josh dies. They cover his body with a blanket, and the three of them begin to argue about what to do next. Devin wants to call the police, but Noel refuses, as they cannot explain the origin of the bullet. Noel thinks they should kidnap a Josh from another reality and bring him back to replace the dead one. Devin disagrees with this plan, but Lena agrees after a brief hesitation. The three of them decide to take the body to a parallel world. After saying their goodbyes, they move toward Josh's location in that world while he is sleeping. They use chloroform to knock him out and take him back. When Josh wakes up in the morning, he finds himself in a room with his friends. Noel and Lena start telling him the story they've prepared. They say that Josh was drunk and doesn't remember that they sold their project to a big company. Josh also got a position as a programmer at Stanley Tech, the company he's always wanted to work for. Josh is so thrilled that his dream has come true that he doesn't question his friend's story. He decides to move out of the house to start his new job. As Noel and Lena continue to bring ideas from other worlds, Devin keeps searching for a reality where his father is still alive. Josh feels quite stressed with his new job. One of his colleagues checks in and says that she doesn't want him to end up like the previous person in this position. The one who had a mental breakdown after his videos appeared online, videos he never made. Josh's sense of unease worsens as he looks back at his old photos on social media. He realizes that many things have changed from what he remembers. On one trip, Noel nearly bumps into a different version of himself and has to come up with a way to escape the situation. Meanwhile, Devin and Lena are talking. Lena knows Devin is searching for his father, and Devin admits that he wants to speak to his father. In this world, the last thing he said to his father before his suicide were insulting words, because he had brought shame to the family. A while later, Lena discovers that Noel has been observing Devin through the periscope. Noel introduces her to his latest invention, which he stole from another reality, the effluvium, a machine that can expand matter at the molecular level. For example, water could turn into gas. Noel also tells Lena that, unlike Devin, he understands the feeling of having big dreams and the hunger for success. Meanwhile, Devin finally finds a world where his father is still alive. In this reality, a maid discovered his father after he had taken the pills and saved him just in time. Devin visits his father in prison and tries to apologize for what he had said earlier. But Martin said he wished he had said it sooner, because he did not realize the damage he had caused his family. After an emotional conversation with Martin, Devin returns to his world and asks Noel to go for a drink. The two reminisce about the old days before discussing Josh's issues. Noel reveals that the Orion Sky Fund has been sending money to Josh's family every month without him knowing, which comforts Devin. Later, Devin goes to Lena's art exhibition, where he finds her drunk, consumed by feelings of guilt. Lena admits she is a fraud. She asks one of the attendees for his opinion on the only piece of art she truly created, but no one pays attention to it. Because she started causing a scene, Devin pulled her outside and took her home. In Lena's room, Devin admitted that he had always liked her old works of art. He even went to her first exhibition and pulled out an old flyer from his wallet to prove it. He also confessed that he had planned to confess his feelings for her back then, but Noel got to her first. Moved by these words, Lena kissed him, and the two of them made love. They then discussed Noel's condition, who seems to work 24/7 without ever feeling tired. Devin mentioned that he had discovered from the journals that Marissa had planned to swap places with another version of herself. Lena promised to talk to Noel about this. However, she didn't know that Noel was watching them through the periscope. The next morning, Lena woke up to find that Devin had disappeared. He only left a note on the bed saying that he had left because he couldn't be involved in this right now, but he would return when he was ready. When she couldn't reach him by phone, Lena tried to talk to Noel, but he didn't care, thinking that Devin would only come back in a few weeks. Then, Noel tried to make a move on Lena, saying that he wanted them to get back together and try again, but Lena rejected him. Their conversation was interrupted by a call from Josh, asking Lena to meet him at a cafe. When Lena found Josh, he looked pale and tense. He said that he couldn't find the things he had left in the usual place, and Lena assumed it was because of stress from his new job. Josh was frustrated because everyone kept telling him that, while he had never had these kinds of work problems before. Furthermore, he had discovered other strange things, like photos and childhood books that had different details from what he remembered. He also found a gun in his backpack that he had never bought and a constant stomach ache, with the feeling that something was always wrong. When Lena returned home, she saw Noel installing an electronic lock on the door. She told him everything Josh had said, including the story about the previous person who had a mental breakdown. Noel admitted that he had done that to help Josh get the job, which made Lena angry because Noel had crossed a line. Feeling suspicious of him, Lena followed Noel through the periscope and saw him throw a phone into the trash. Lena took the phone and connected it to the computer to search for its recent locations. Eventually, it led her to a house by the lake in the countryside, where Devin was currently living. Lena discovered that Devin would soon leave the country to avoid a lawsuit from Seth, which Noel had caused. When Devin showed no sign of remembering that night between him and Lena, she realized this was a different version of Devin and Noel had killed the Devin from this world. Lena tried to explain everything to Devin, even showing him the old exhibition flyer as proof. She then decided to leave when she received no response from him. However, she didn't realize that Devin was opening his wallet and finding the flyer in his wallet. Meanwhile, Josh discovered from a private investigator that Noel had lied about selling their project and was now working on a patent application. He returned home to confront Noel. He found Noel in the attic, just stepping out of the mirror, and faced him, threatening to shoot if Noel didn't take the mirror down. Josh demanded Noel remove the mirror so he could take it with him, and when Noel handed him a tool to do so, Josh was distracted by touching the glass. Noel seized the opportunity, lunged at Josh, and knocked him to the floor, where they struggled until the gun was accidentally fired. Noel retreated, wounded, while Josh said he would help Noel, but he was distracted by the electric current running through him. At that moment, Noel stepped out of the mirror and used a high-tech gun to kill both Josh and his duplicate. Lena arrived immediately after and witnessed what Noel had done. However, Noel didn't care about that and was solely focused on the large painting. He took Lena to see all the incredible inventions he had brought back from the parallel worlds. He said that this was not about money, but about becoming the Edison of their time. He also confessed that he had fallen in love with many Lenas from different worlds, but he believed none could compare to the original Lena. Lena pretended to care about Noel again to distract him with a kiss, then pushed him onto the bed to steal the gun. However, the doorbell rang, and Noel took the gun and went downstairs to see who had arrived. Standing at the front door was Carmen, but after seeing her through the window, Noel ignored her and returned upstairs. Lena quickly rushed in, stabbing Noel in the leg with the effluvium. After a struggle on the floor, Noel overpowered her and regained his gun. However, he couldn't bring himself to kill the woman he loved. As he moved closer to try to change Lena's decision, she pushed him away and took the opportunity to grab his gun. But when she pulled the trigger, the gun didn't fire because it only worked with fingerprint recognition. Lena ran out of the room and tried to escape the house, but she couldn't unlock the electronic lock Noel had installed. Instead, she attempted to leave through the mirror, but Noel noticed and pulled her back by her hair. As Noel held her tightly, not letting her leave, Devin appeared, carrying a gun, and shot Noel. When Lena broke free from Noel's grasp, he fell into the mirror. To prevent Noel from returning, Lena moved the mirror, rendering it inoperable. The mirror stopped just as Noel was halfway through his journey back, with half of his body falling out, exposing his blood-filled intestines. After discarding the body, Lena wondered how Devin had discovered the truth. He answered by showing her a video recorded by his other self, with a message prepared in case this happened. The two decided the mirror was too dangerous to continue using, so Lena destroyed it with an axe before they left the house for good. A few days later, the couple drove through the countryside while listening to the news on the radio, talking about technological inventions donated by an anonymous person. When they stopped at a gas station, Lena went to the restroom and, while looking into the mirror, she noticed an electric wave passing behind her. Immediately after, Lena returned to the car and was surprised to hear a song by a band she hadn't listened to in a long time. Devin felt strange because they had played that song just an hour ago. Lena just blamed it on being absent-minded, and the couple continued driving happily. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching.